everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at a 2021 Mazda CX-3 and discuss whether or not you should really be buying small SUVs or you should just go straight to the hatchback versions of them. For this car, if you can notice, it's pretty much just a jacked up Mazda 3 hatchback. All this black body panel, they essentially jacked up the shocks, struck that on there and it goes, it's off-road. That's that sport utility vehicle. Nonetheless, you have about a 14.5-foot long chassis, about a 5 foot wide, and about 4 feet tall. So this thing is still small. It's not your Land Rover Defender or Range Rover or anything like that. In addition, Mazda is known for its sporting ethos. Would you think a small little hatchy thing like this would be quick and nimble? It's really not. With about 186 horsepower coming from a 2.5 liter engine, that's more than my car. That's a bigger engine than my car with less power. You really want to know what's the point of it? Not to mention, again, you think that this thing would be light and small. It's really not. It weighs 3,400 pounds. How can Mazda do that? Trying to get out of this small freaking trunk. It only holds about 20 cubic feet, which I guess is how much space I take up. But not only that, but the floor is raised by this little storage unit right here, which then takes up like 5 cubic feet of storage, which just doesn't make sense. Why would you just leave that out completely? Then if you were to move back the seats, then you get about 45 cubic feet of storage, which really isn't that bad, which brings you to the next point. If you're gonna get a small SUV, you really need to just be doing it for yourself. You can't be taking friends, you can't have a family, and that's because there's just not enough space to be moving things. Not to mention about moving stuff, if you were to be moving out of your house, you'd have to have a friend who was very strong or didn't have a cooked back such as myself. Because look at this rise height. You would need to grab the thing, lift it all the way up pretty much over the car, and then put it down. And you're just like, it's too much effort for what you're doing. Looking at the back seats of this car, if you thought the trunk had no room, this thing is essentially a little hole in a log. There's nothing back here. With my driving position as a 6'3" adult, my knees are practically to my chest, and as an SUV, a family vehicle, this just really doesn't cut it. You know, I would not be comfortable in this car for really over an hour. Like, if I had to just go somewhere, you know, it's like we just have to, like, hop across a bridge, then maybe, but for long road trips, this is unacceptable. Looking at the front driver's side of the car, well, you'll be spending the majority of your time, hopefully, if you'll be owning and driving this car. You have fake carbon fiber on the window switches and the mirror control unit. In the dash, you have a analog tachometer to really show its sporting nature with the outlining in silver. The steering wheel is leather with a nice little honk. Looking at the infotainment, you do have a small screen with Apple CarPlay, which is obviously a plus. You have big round dials for your AC, but it is a single zone climate, so if you and the missus are having a discussion or an argument about what the AC should be, you have an authority in that case, which is quite nice. Next, moving on to your shifter, your gear selector. It's wrapped in leather, which feels nice in the hands. And in the center console, you have one cup holder with one optional cup holder, which seems kind of odd. And now let's hear that 2.5 liter sing. As a CX-3 for a drive here, leaving this parking lot. The throttle doesn't have any bite, but that's kind of nice because it's nice and progressive and smooth and easy. It's kind of the feel for the rest of the car. It doesn't have any feel, except it does what it's supposed to do. It's a very utilitarian and cheap and practical vehicle. All right, moving on over to the highway portion, and we were just cruising along there on the Auburn Interstate Highway Super Autobahn, of course. And overall, it's fairly smooth. It handles nicely on the highway, even though it is a smaller car. With that weight, it does help in case of a semi coming and passing over you. That has an adaptive cruise control, which works. It operates, but the highway characteristics is that it will do it comfortably. I mean, it is a modern vehicle, and as a result, it won't necessarily do anything poorly. You know, it's not like a 1987 Honda Civic where at 80 miles an hour the whole thing's rattling apart and everything else. It is a modern car, so it does operate well on the highway. In terms of passing power, it's 186 horsepower
has some stuff to be desired. You really do have to plan out your passes, as in you have to be making sure you have to make sure you know where you're going and how far it's going to take you to pass this person, because you got to go foot to the floor for 5 to 10 seconds just to get to pass. Fun in this spunky little car.
After driving around the Mazda CX-3 for the past couple of hours, we have a few thoughts. First of all, it's too heavy for its own good. Second of all, it doesn't have enough power. Third of all, it's too small to be a really effective SUV, and all of the controls are numb. Answering the question of the video of better or budget, and answering the question of whether or not you should just upgrade to a mid-side SUV or just stay with a hatchback, I think the answer is you have to either do one of those. A small SUV just does not cut it. It doesn't have enough space to be fully practical, and it's too big to be small and compact. Thank you everybody for watching today. I hope you like this video, comment on it, and subscribe to my channel.